we don't have all that much utility on anyone. It's PKL, any utility man there for Luminosity. Smoke kit for Finesse, very standard stuff here.
Moving up second mid, as we call it in Europe.
Cool little lineup there.
Yeah, so is he smoking off the arch position? The pop flash will, I don't think it was supposed to hit a balcony, but whatever, as long as it works.
My Christ.
That is an interesting start to the round, and it seems they're going to wrap around to the A side. So it will be a split, but Cutler's got to find a kill, and he won't. That leaves Ethan and Ricky over from B. So 2 versus 5. We'll see what they can do. I don't know how many 2 versus 5 pistol rounds I have seen won, but maybe this will be one of the few. That's a very nice tap from Ethan. He's moved in quickly, but there's a headshot from a Glock, and that'll be the end of it.
I think Ethan's a really good young player that we have in North America, so it was cool to see him. He had a very good miner as well. But yeah, that setup they had in A was not designed to recover from Kusa dying that quickly. And I wouldn't even say it was necessarily like his fault. I don't think he like overcommitted or stuck around for too long. That's just an incredible shot, right? As they wrap around. And then once that happens, if there's a player in Graveyard getting pinched from 2 different locations, he has got to pull out something incredible, and it just wasn't to be that round.
One thing we don't see in a round such as this, right, from a CT team, you don't see it very often in Europe, is the use of smokes in the late game when you are on a force buy or an eco. Because a team like well, any of the Danish teams, really, as an example, will put a late smoke down versus a team who are doing a slow anti-eco, anti-force buy, and ruin the timing, because a lot of teams, or a reasonable amount of teams, will wait until there's 20 seconds, 30 seconds left, and they haven't really achieved too much, right? So a smoke can cause absolute bedlam, but we still don't really see it from North American teams beyond Cloud9.
We just saw it in the previous game on Inferno between Astralis and Heroic, was some of the smoke. So here's just some dry contact aggression towards B for CLG. They get an initial trade, but they just, I mean, there's just not enough firepower to really fight that battle. So it's going to be a second round for Luminosity as they make their way into the plant.
One thing to note as well is that Luminosity in last week, they were actually able to defeat SK on this map. So
where are they now?
Yeah,
not bad.
It's not too shabby. Yeah, definitely something to. This has been to me.
Did SK have Dead playing?
One of the last week. Yeah, he was playing for them all last week.
Dead is he was really good though.
He was he's exactly
really
he's top fragging James, so and top damaging every game. Never mind. So, so the point I wanted to make with Luminosity here is that it does appear that this seems to be one of their stronger, if not strongest maps at the moment. And I think a lot of it is down to the fact that their T side is pretty good, although I think you guys were right to highlight that they do have some leaks, especially in some of these anti-eco rounds. They are a team that likes to play it really way too slow sometimes. For some reason, there are teams which just struggle at taking the action in the anti-ecos, and that is a problem.
At times it seems to be a Brazilian thing, because I know, well, outside of like Immortals at the major, they were super aggressive, but I know SK does that as well. They really like to run the clock down, if you notice in the matches.
It's a dangerous thing. SK though, we allow them all sorts of allowance. Well, they've
earned the right to, you know, even if we question it, you know.
They get the allowances. They make the exceptions.
One of these teams, their communication server has imploded, which is why there is a delay, just so you know.
But the map is really pretty, look at that.
Water lilies, I haven't noticed those before.
The lily pads are lovely.
Water lilies. A lily pad is a much larger thing, isn't it? That's not really a pad. It's a water lily.
Aren't those lily pads as well?
Okay, I need to look this up.
I would have called it a lily pad as well, but
it looks... Okay, let me look this up.
I don't pretend to be an expert
on flowers.
On aquatic plant.
You're not a botanist, are you? Maybe just the first bit of the word. I don't know.
Well, let's see. Mac 10 locked and loaded on Yell. UMP on PKL. So look at those guys to be the initiators of all the action. Some cool crossfires set up in mid here for CLG. This is the entire team, and it's a nice shoulder peek from Yell, and actually gets away before the peek comes in. So smart play from Yell to get some information, and that by itself just busts up the stack. No damage even exchanged.
It's been dismantled. And they're going to reset the situation. They're going to play into apartments with some aggression. CLG looking to get some info. That looked a little bit awkward for Showtime there.
It did. That was like an awkward little cubby that Ricky found himself in.
Yeah. And it's going to go fairly well here for Luminosity. Obviously, Showtime is just there to catch any rotations. The rest of the team will move knowingly into the stack, but again, you don't have to be too afraid of stacks. You just handle them, correctly. Because the problem is some teams are too afraid of stacks, so that they don't want to commit into a stack. So as soon as they sort of find out that, oh god, we might be committing into a stack, then you see some weird decisions made.
Ooh.
Oh wow, fade away Mac 10 kill.
Some bonus money as well for FNS there. That's pretty good. Problem is, because of the smokes and everything, and that's the thing that you're talking about, Dan, is because the utility was used so well from LG, they didn't have to be afraid of the stacks whatsoever.
Yeah.
And because of the smoke being put up as well, CLG has no idea that everyone's out of the bomb site. Otherwise, I think maybe they use this Molotov a little differently and maybe try and get a couple extra kills here at the end. But both of these players have armor, and they're going to be happy to bring that into the next round because it is going to be tough on the money, and they would love to save that $1,000.
It's a good saving.
I think they are water lilies with lily pads.
Surrounding them, yeah.
But the wiki page is too much science for me. I haven't had enough sleep to read it.
So the water lily is the flower, and the lily pads are the surrounding green
leaves.
Okay.
I believe so. That's what I believe.
So the water lily does not actually include the pad. You can have a water lily without the lily pad.
I'm not sure. See, that's
Okay.
what I wanted to identify, but I just don't have the brain power right now.
All right.
I can't do it.
I think we came close enough to assume that that is probably the truth. So
I
we
don't
can just
never
run with
assume.
it.
You can't assume with science, Dan.
We can just run with that.
You can make no assumptions.
It's fine.
Luminosity have a focus on the A site. There will be no lurkers towards the banana position on this occasion. FNS may run into difficulty with his Mac 10 in this round, as everyone has a helmet for Luminosity, as is normal on a blind on the T side. That's a nice snap from Kusta. Gets the Molotov down as well. His teammates flash in the pit, but there is a player on the balcony as well who is still alive. Kusta, I would say bait for his teammate, but he's just going to kill everyone, it seems. Another Kusta highlight on Inferno. PKL will die as well, and it seems that the last player was left for Kusta to finish off. Gets himself an ace.
Yeah, that was sick. I mean, he got that, if we're honest, he got that a little bit too easy, right? He didn't have any pressure put on him at any one point.
Yeah.
I think probably the most danger he had was when the player came out balcony, but this is really well done from him, finding his one-on-ones, and it's so hard to clear the Opera out of that position. And even though the Mac 10 from FNS was largely like neutralized, didn't get a whole lot of damage, just the presence there at that last section was perfect.
Nekis looking to pressure straight forwards, and he can't find the kill. And Nekis and Cello have actually been some of the reasons why the T side of Luminosity's Inferno has been decent. And it's due to their ability to play aggressively and open up the map aggressively.
I mean, that attempted play right there feels pretty gimmicky, if I'm honest. Yeah, just because he gets in the smoke and yeah, you're waiting for a pop flash, so it's like an organized gimmick, but it's not a very high percentage play, is it, at the end of the day?
Luminosity looking for an entry, looking for a raw peek. I don't know if Ethan saw much of anything just there. Perhaps he did, perhaps he didn't, but whose burst will be better? It's interesting that Yell has slowed down because, okay, this might be why. A great execute. Flashbang won't have much mileage. Ricky won't get any kills. Ethan will get instantly traded, and there is a Luminosity team all over this bomb site. It's asthma time.
Luminosity.
Well, this is a big fight if they want to actually go for this. It's got to be clearing out this front position. There's one kill, and unfortunately, I think Vanessa didn't have his gun out prepared for that fight. He's going to fall as well, so Kusa's just going to save this off. He gets the one kill. That might prompt him to go for it. Oh, and it looked like he was going to free fire that. It's not going to happen, though. That fire might pin him into the corner, and actually he runs out into it. That's tough. That's tough to swallow for CLG. That's a hard reset. Kusa can still get the op, though, so they might be able to buy if they want to be very aggressive about it. And op in 4 pistols.
Yeah, I think there's definitely, because the thing about it too is it puts you on even money with everyone, so you can just try to save it, just play around it and do some cool damage.
You've seen it from our spots, right? when Chris J dropped an AWP from Oscar.
I think it's a pretty common decision. I think if ever you have this spot where like one guy just has loads of money, I think a lot of teams like to do it.
It also depends on the opera, right? Because like G2 does it with Kenny, and the Mouse obviously does it with Oscar. I mean, the question is, do they have enough faith in Kusta as an opera to do it? And I think maybe at some point, maybe later down the line, that would happen. But I think the idea would be that it's just too early in the game to kind of risk that much. Because they can buy into the next round, right? They can have the op on Kusta in the next round, and they can have some rifles, some SMGs instead of just pistols.
As a player, though, I think he is capable of that. He's certainly grown and found his spot in this team, and he's really aggressive, and he delivers most of the time. Rarely misses a shot, which is awesome. Speak of the devil, and he shall appear.
Great presence towards A so far for Luminosity. They found themselves in a nice staging area, and there's no information this is happening. This is a very slow creep. And now FNS has given him his position up, and I think they'll be surprised at how quickly the turn comes.
Oh wow, that's a pretty nice find. Cutler there on the Deagle, ready to step up to the plate to deliver the frags, and he's going to do just that. And it's going to be Nekis eventually knocked for 6, courtesy of Ethan.
What a win. That's huge. That is a complete turnaround in the economy. Look at this. They get an op for free. They can have all the rifles in this round. They even salvage an AK-47. That's quite nice. So CLG back into a win, and now it's Luminosity who's going to be put on the back foot. They're going to have to just stay on pistols.
They got caught in a pretty simple crossfire there. Yeah. Which is, I mean, you're an arch, right? You should be expectant of that. And on an anti-eco round, you should be able to deal with that. But that's the second round where they get trapped halfway down short and then just get annihilated.
It is a bit weird to see them not using like any utility on that execute, on that hit. Just because it's like if they knew CLG had guns, they would have used smokes and flashes and more Molotovs and everything. And I almost feel like the only correct way to play an anti-eco at this point is just to treat it like another gun round. Like you cannot underestimate the danger anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to ask yourself, if you were on the CT side, what would you be doing in this position? You'd have a crossfire. So to see them getting stuck like that is not good, especially when we're only on round 7.
It's funny too because both CLG and Luminosity have been the two teams in which we have discussed having problems handling anti-eco rounds and panicking in those rounds, the most out of any team in the league. And CLG, I think, have a lot more issues, and we've seen them actually lose. I think in Inferno, actually, where they completely misplayed a situation where, like, Dremo, like mid was just re-smoked like 4 times, and then they just panicked and died.
Yeah.
Panicked and died.
Yeah,
lost the game.
It was, yeah. From what we could see on the radar, it looked like, you know, Ricky is willing to suggest a mid-round call if he based on the information that he can see. Or read of the game, he will suggest something if he has an idea. And we saw him moving towards B, which was the right play, but I think Fear stopped him from doing it, and they got wrecked. But here we go. They have opportunity. Ricky and Kusta on the sniper rifles. Nekis lining up a flash up banana to retake it once the smoke disappears, or maybe a bit earlier. Element of surprise, but Ethan is too far forward. And he's going to get himself a very nice 2-man spray down, and Kusta can clean up the rest. Maybe going a bit too far on the last one, but the damage has been done here. Will there be a spray? No, Nekis. He heard the position. He's got time as well. He can do more damage to this CLG side.
Yeah, absolutely can. He's going to turn the corner. Ooh, misses the shot. That could have been another kill. But it will not be. 4-4 as CLG stabilize. Kusta on almost 13k. He's going to be happy with that.
Where did that come from?
Double ops continue.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
No, you go for it.
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Luminosity's got to do a better job of trading, if we're honest. Like, this is 2 big individual rounds, right? You had Kusta with the ace. This time you had Ethan with the spray down. And again, it's like a pop flash through a smoke. Like, we've seen that towards Banana a couple times now. There's got to be a better plan than that. That's a great nade as well, and this should be all stopped. Ethan's going to get another big round.
If Luminosity look back at this demo, then they can learn the hard way as to why they can't make a play like that. Because I mean, they need to understand the purpose of the flash. The purpose of the flash is to flash an AWPer who's by the barrels. So if someone's close by the smoke, as they were, they're not going to get flashed, and then they'll just annihilate you. Therefore, you wait for the smoke to go, and then you simply do not have that problem.
Especially because, like, you'd understand it, right? If
they
the slaughter is
they
just
just
layers,
explode.
yeah. You'd understand the play if, like, it was later in the round, right? If it's like a desperate scenario, but happening that early on seems a bit wacky. Seems a bit wild.
Yeah, I feel like they wanted to do it through the smoke to catch them off guard, but that comes with its own problems. They learn those problems, and they've given CLG a lot of money. A lot of money indeed.
Money is just a crime. Looking to set up just for the straight play into A. No default, no messing around. And CLG should be able to understand what's going on now. Ricky having to reposition forced. And that's something that surprises you. Surely there's the communication so that he doesn't get Color's not shot in the back there and exposed. But instead it's going to be a hard-fought retake here for CLG.
I think the communication probably came out. I think it just was so fast that it didn't have time to react. This is a really big spot, and actually that's a great peek from Ricky with his teammate. But Nekaz pretty much neutralizes that. Kusta on the flank in Halls.
Very nice peek from him. Does he have any idea where PKL is? Oh, he spots the leg, and Kusta delivers. Really, he has really come into his own as an author. It's awesome to watch. I do want to see a test against stronger teams, but first I need to make some stronger tournaments.
I think that's like the root of the issue with the CLG squad is at a certain point, like, you know, because they had, remember at the beginning of the year they had that star ladder where they got top 4. They had like a really cool run. When Ricky like kind of first joined the roster, it was like Ricky and Kusta were leading the way. It was very good. But since then, it's been essentially not too much to write home about.
Yeah, I think they've suffered a lot from I'm a Pet not being on a team anymore.
Yeah, he certainly got a lot of credit when they had success, and the players obviously really liked him. So yeah, it could be that. But whatever it is, like at a certain point, you just have to start qualifying. You can't go down this road. And now I think not qualifying for the major is actually is going to be not a death sentence, but it's a big blow.
He's making the way through the Molotov. Kusta's still pretty close. There's flashbangs all over the place, and they will go in his favor. We've got the one shot from Cello, but that's not really going to get much done. More flashes flying in, and Kusta will go down, but maybe he's done his job. Ethan flanking. Not ready for Yell to turn around once again. 3 versus 2. Everybody on the A site, but Rickey's still on Speedway.
So everything slows down. And it should. CLG waiting for Luminosity to make the move. They must. They are the ones that will be pressed by the time. That set of foot. A body no is offered up and the head of Finesse. And all of a sudden, Ricky is in a horrible position. Wow.
Yeah.
That was pretty big.
Yeah, that was huge. I mean, that's just straight up patience. That's not even Luminosity doing anything to cause that mistake. It's just them stopping and waiting. CLG plays right into it, and there's the win. And that the tough part, like, again, to be critical. you know me. I don't like being critical, Dan. There's no reason to make that push, I don't think. Like you have a player in pit who can watch rap side. You have a player in site who can at least readjust himself to have an eye on lane and balcony.
It's like
so you have everything covered. You have one player at B.
It's like the rounds where we saw with NIP from before, where it's like this is a 100% win this round, but it's like the impatience which screws you. There's spots where waiting is the best play, but I think people always feel as though they need to be doing something, and that's waiting. That waiting is sometimes not good enough, but.
It is a very difficult like balance to find and to ride as a CT team, especially on a map like Inferno, where when you get passive, you just have no information of what's coming. And the fact that the attack came so early, I mean, there was still, when they make that push, there's still 45 seconds left in the round. I think that's what makes them feel nervous.
I think as well, another thing that sort of plays into the lack of patience, or what appears to be lack of patience sometimes, is that players just don't want to be the ones getting peeked on, but they want to be the ones being able to peek onto their opponents, which feels like a much less helpless situation because you don't have to react because you're taking the initiative.
Yeah.
So that's like another reason, I think. But then that's why you have good setups on the CT side, good crossfires.
I think that's the big thing, is they had a crossfire set up in that round, right?
And that solves that problem for you. Yeah. It's definitely a leak. Definitely a leak.
Well, this defensive setup from CLG is quite dangerous, with 3 people in lane, about as far as you can possibly get to rotating over towards the B bomb site. But thankfully, the utility of these B defenders can stall this hit out.
And they can stall it out for a really long time. That's a very big problem. They're going to have to go through the smoke here.
The smoke was terrible, actually. It was only covered half the space, so it allowed the LG to stream, and otherwise maybe they wouldn't have. It was see the smoke there. It's like,
oh wow,
it's a pretty big
awful.
Yeah, but it's partly because there was a Molotov down, so the Molotov stopped it going where it was supposed to.
You got to save this round if you're CLG. Yep, they already have 2 players on this side of the map, so they're just going to play to fight another day. Pretty decent. I mean, this is very basic G-side from Luminosity. They're I mean, just kind of executing at each site in turn, and they're not really trying to get in a whole lot of engagements before the execution comes in. They're just being very, very quiet and then hitting a site.
And that, I mean, that has a lot of problems, because if you don't pressure away the utility, if the grenades are sort of perfect there from CLG, they will obviously have a lot of issues there. They may not even be able to get into the bomb site. The round could just be over. So this is a round win for sure. That's very loud. But I would not call it a consistent approach. Something that you can rely upon round to round, because it's not really birthed from a default.
You'd like to see something a little bit more, especially considering some of the smoke plays we've seen out of them. But at the moment, it's working quite nice. They're grinding the economy. I think this might be the last buy CLG has. I think this double off setup that they were investing into is finally kind of eating away at their bank. Another smoke play.
Luminosity getting their skates on. So many players currently on position. Cutler is there, way too late, unfortunately. Just wasn't expecting this timing. The numbers game will prevail, and they'll be all over the A site, but the CTs are close. The bomb isn't down yet. Smokes around Arch, however, and Showtime has another one. So once he's planted his bomb, he can re-smoke that position. That's such a killer. Okay, put it on the site instead.
Yeah, now the op has free reign to look towards pit. Oh, this is a nice off angle from PKL. That's going to be a tough one to neutralize.
Headshot angles are really useful here for Showtime. Full body exposed to Ricker, and he will have him. Now Kusta, we've seen him go for the clutch before. 7 bullets left in the USP as he makes his way forward. 3 bullets left, all pass to come out. Oh, goes for the shot, can't connect, gets a second go of it, and that's enough to get the kill, but not the round. The bomb will still detonate. But how did Kusta survive that one? He won't survive the bomb though. I wonder how far away he was from survival on 2 HP. I wonder where the cutoff point was, because the bomb was planted all the way to the closest side.
I wonder how close that would have been if he actually tried to defuse it.
Yeah. Maybe around the APC.
Not close. Probably not.
Probably not too close, no. About 5 seconds away, perhaps.
Right then, Luminosity 1 round in the lead. There was some money on CLG for a buy, but it's not the most ideal one. They will begin with the smokes. Nick is looking for a boost. Let's see, doesn't seem that there will be one. Ethan's only got a CZ by the sandbags, and he'll leave Ricky to announce that there are rifles in this area. Luminosity playing it slow, slowing down the pace after charging the A site. Maybe wanting to prey on CLG's shortcomings in this round.
One of the problems is that CLG have such a strong grip over top mid that right now CLG understand that most of Luminosity are likely standing towards Banana. So now the impetus sort of falls onto Luminosity to take away top mid, and that's what they're going to go and do. It would be nice to leave someone Banana, but
that's a lot of utility as well. They just took on Ethan. He had a smoke and a Molotov, so that's something they don't get to use. He was committed there. And now if you look at the CLG defense, one on the site, there's no one in pit, so they don't have a crossfire set up. That can be deadly. It's Kusta with the op at rap side who's got to do some work.
But flash for him.
Yeah, Rick is on the flank as well. So will it matter? Kusta stuck in the corner, and that's not going to be a good look. So Rick does get something out the flank, but there's too many players here, and everybody's looking towards this location.
That was really awkward for CLG.
Yeah, that kind of a defense is not a winning recipe, is it? It's a tough call to make. I think Kusta just has to like kind of stand his ground at long. I mean, at rap side, he just has to take that fight with the AWP, I think. because his teammate in bomb site has like nothing. And actually, if you think about it, I mean, Luminosity's had the winning recipe to this half throughout. I mean, that rap side defense has been a big struggle at times, and at the moment, they've found that it's been weak, and they're just kind of applying pressure.
That's a sign of the desperation. Kusta, I think he was actually trying to take that duel as well after the initial shots, which aren't going to be favourable. So now that's an early disadvantage in a round where they had problems. Risks had to be taken, and risks were taken. What else can they do? I think that Luminosity, I would expect to play slow, expect these kind of plays to come out. Maybe now that second player's gone down, they might speed things up.
Yeah, this is like one of those classic problems where a team is definitely waiting for you to be aggressive because they have a 5-man advantage. It's very early in the round.
5-man advantage.
The problem is well, that makes sense. 5-man, and there's an advantage.
Well, 5-man advantage would mean that everyone's dead on the other side.
How much James with this one, Dan?
Damn it. God damn it. You know what I mean? Anyway, so, well, I guess the round's basically over. But the point I was going to make is that the very common thing, if you get a pick early on as the tease, very early into the round, is you have plenty of time on the clock, so there's no reason not to just wait for an aggressive response. So there's actually, like, if there's a lot of time left in the round, you're usually better off trying to find information in another way than just sort of going for a crazy push. Can be often a good answer. There's no right answer to that situation though, as you don't have a perfect information.
This is going to have to be a very nice T-side out of CLG. They're going to have complete control of the economy. The crazy thing about this pistol round is with Ricky buying a Deagle, there's not that powerful of a front line. And that's a nice shot. Showtime takes out Cutler, and then he falls immediately afterwards. So I guess you could say advantage CLG in this kind of a situation as the defense is just now rotating over towards A. Are they going to get there? I think they will. CLG's kind of slowed this down.
What kind of positions will they take, though, I wonder? Luminosity rotating to a plan B. They've got a crossfire, but on the pistols, it's a very different scenario. Ooh, nice aggression from Yao, and he backs up, trying to bait them into the crossfire, and he might just do that. Cello getting a kill as well, and I think there are still 2 more CTs here, but 2 of them will go down, leaving Cello alone. That's a nice one tap from him. Ethan's got to move quickly. He has to assume that there's 1 CT here, and try and get a plant, which he will. Or will he? No, they're chasing him. Find his kills. He's got time, but he doesn't have health, unfortunately. So 12-6 may be likely now.
Yeah, I'm surprised he just didn't go for the straight plant. I don't know. I would have preferred it just because it's guaranteed money. I don't know where you stand on that versus trying to win the round there, Jason.
I don't mind it in a 1-on-2 especially because like you can still isolate some 1v1s. You can try and make it happen. It obviously I don't think you can blame him either way. Either option he decided to go towards.
Yeah, you can definitely make an argument for both.
Most situations I would say just get the bomb planted. I think I see far more times where I see players try and win the round where I'd prefer them to just get the plant. But in that kind of situation, I think it's fair play either way.
It has put them on a force buy. And it can work pretty effectively every so often.
They have the setup to go against here. 1 in pit, 1 in the bomb site. I mean, this can happen if they can find this kill, and I don't think they got it quick enough. I think that's just enough damage done, although, as I say that, the other 2 players fall immediately. So, cool.
Well then, that's the thing.
At least there were no revolvers. Seen Alu started using the revolver. And Snacks, is it, as well?
Yeah, he was using it as an epicenter.
Just stop. We need an intervention.
Snacks got a kill with it every round he used it.
Really? Every round?
I think I think he got a kill with it like 2 of the first 3 rounds that I saw it, and then the 3rd time I saw him use it, it was Neo who picked it up and got a kill with it to win the round.
Please just no.
I saw a 1 kill from the revolver, but that's it.
Oh, if they use it,
watch the entire game.
Maybe Valve will never touch it again. So please use it more.
Maybe that's what it's for.
I don't know. That was a fun week when it was really strong. That was like that was good.
It's stuck at all.
It was just a refreshing week, you know. I don't want it forever, but maybe every once every 3 months, give us a week with it.
Just a week with something ridiculous like the Orcs when they were like insanely good.
When they had no recoil.
Yeah.
Literally no recoil. Oh dear. Where's your tower now? More like a leaning tower of pizza. I was going to say Tower of Hanoi, but that makes no sense. Not many people are familiar with the Tower of Hanoi. So let's see. Where's the pop flash? Where's the pop flash from the bottom of mid to allow them to burst?
Not ready for it yet. Got a nice kill. This is very slow paced, but yeah, I mean, now they're going to readjust. This will get aggressive here. CLG's doing this right though. They have a player that's pushed out towards car. This is something CLG never really had in the mid rounds. Is someone at banana like pushed out towards car, pushed out towards that half wall, so they couldn't really cheat too quickly, which was tough for them. Oh dear.
Well, CC's around the arch position, but they don't have a lot of people trained on them. The scat will be collected. Oh, there's a comeback possible there. NBK did it to Snappy recently. So down goes the bomb. Neck is creeping. Oh, he's just avoided the angles, hasn't he? Oh, that's a lovely one shot. And that might force Cutler out. And that will expose Cutler to the Deagle and the Scout. Neckers, does he know that Kusta is on the short position? Again, he's got to try and enable Yell. He's focusing on one play without knowing where the second one was. That is a misplay from him, I'd say. And only the Scat will be salvaged in this round.
Yeah, that was desperate. You could tell he wanted to go for that retake because there was just the slightest possibility. So he forced himself to commit into that with the AK, which is, I mean, yeah. Yell no HP to kind of back him up and to try and find out any information or help him out with another kill. So CLG back in business, 8-7.
It's a very crucial pickup that they don't go 12-6.
Yeah, that was nice, isn't it?
Yeah, because that's so hard to come back from if you're 9-6 at the half and lose pistol.
The really good thing about it, obviously, is the fact that going into the fourth round, they'll have a better economy going on, and that's really what you want on an Inferno. Like, it's tough to say how sided this map is one way or the other, because it just seems like the only thing that really matters is who can afford all the nades, all the smokes, the Molotovs. It seems to be the primary way to win this.
Just trying to avoid catastrophe now is CLG, but we know that they play these rounds really slow. Let's hope that they have a more decisive round to show us. Looks like it's pretty good so far, able to sort of create space into top mid. And they've got a nice split set up here for that A site. What on earth just happened there? I would love to see what happened with Yell's shot, but he will get tapped down himself, courtesy of Ethan. So it looks like catastrophe has been averted. Yes. 9-10 for CLG, coming back into this one. And now the full buy-in from Luminosity. No warps though.
I'm interested to see if and when the op comes out for Kusta on the T side, because we know there are. I mean, this map is just so difficult for operators on the T side. So will they actually use it? Does he even want to mess with it whatsoever, or is he just going to play an AK game? Because Kusta is one of the operators that is very proficient with the AK-47 as well. So he doesn't necessarily need the op to have an impact.
I remember when we did the Asian Minor last year, someone had that AK Kusa's wielding, and it was called Green Tea Bitch, which was just really funny to me. I thought that was amazing. How far will they go? F&S have taken a glorious off angle, and that might just be the round, although his team aren't really in position to punish it. You do wonder if they'll send a player towards B to go for a quick. I mean, there's no reason for anyone else to be up here.
I know if I like what LG's doing here. They're still just conceding the round if they go B, because they're saying two things are going to happen. Either CLG's pretty much just going to hit the B bomb site because of that, or they will think we overcompensated and over-rotated towards the B bomb site, and they'll try and come towards A. So why not we just keep the full presence at A and just kind of cross your fingers and just say this is the best chance we have at a win. Otherwise, we get another pretty solid buy in the next round.
Which would be ruins if one of them runs out of dice. I think Yell wants to apply some forward pressure.
Oh yeah, I don't know why you do that.
Like, but you can do the same job there without actually doing a peek. You can sort of just shoot the edge of the smoke or something if you want to apply, create some presence in CT and then fall back.
It's just one of those things where it's like you've already chosen to save.
Yeah.
You know you're going to save at the end of the round.
I mean, I feel like some teams are just happy with only like saving with 2 players, but there's such a big difference between 2 and 3. With 3, you actually get no one on a pistol, but with 2, that happens because only 2 people can drop their guns, and there's 5 players. So one person is getting left out in the cold. It did seem like a bit of a suicidal run there.
Well, especially to just spam through smoke, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna go get like an actual fight, maybe. But
Yeah.
regardless, what's done is done. CLG tying things up at 10-10, and that's the question: does Yale want to drop an M4? Does his teammate want to drop a Thomas? And this is to your point. If Yale was to drop an M4 and Showtime was to drop a FAMAS, then you have five rifles. You have 4 M4s and a FAMAS.
Yep.
Instead, you can't even really fight for this round.
Yep. It's weird. It is just because of that situation.
10
running
bullets
and dying.
shot into his smoke.
Yeah, exactly. And again, like, I think the argument that what he's going for there is pressure, but that's just not a good way. That's just obviously not a safe way to do it, and so you get punished, and then that's it. You can't buy the next round.
Yeah, it's
brutal.
I've noticed an increase in tracer fire being punished fatally.
Yeah, people are getting really good at that.
Yeah.
I will. This is always like really funny. I will tell you, as a player, when you go behind a smoke and you start spraying through it, in your head, it always plays out as if you get the kill. You're always like, yeah, this is the one where I'm going to get the spam through the smoke, and then you just die, and you're like, oh, well, could have seen that coming.
I had a fun moment. Oh, never mind. It's not the time. Because the push limit from CLG, they will trade at the very least. Then there is a smoke down. We need to see more smokes, but that's the only smoke in this round. But at least it's stopped CLG going towards B. And there are 3 players towards the A side. So maybe, just maybe, this will work out for Luminosity.
Oh wow, yeah, it very well might do. Yeah, the smoke on banana will only dissipate around about now-ish, so they're not going banana. There's 3 players ready. Cello to get an open, but he pushes too far forwards. EKL with the wild spray.
That's an opportunity lost right there.
It is, yeah.
That round was really nice to set up by LG. As nice as it possibly could be. That's exactly what they wanted. Nice job by Ethan, though, keeping his head on a swivel, checking through the smoke, and recovering nicely on PKL, who missed some shots. But Neck is at least going to have the AK-47. I think a tough part for LG is the next buy still isn't going to be the best in the world. It's going to be quite nice. But there's a lot of money built up on the CLG side.
Nice.
Although I think LG can finally get the AWP. Yeah, actually, when I say that, I just pulled the DDK. This is going to be quite a nice buy for Luminosity.
Time up from Luminosity. 11-10 in favour of CLG. Chicken is on an invisible treadmill.
That's 7 in a row that they've... Right? No. 5 in a row. My math is awful. So that chicken is in some distress.
It's probably because he has a pumpkin on his head.
Yeah, can we remove these pumpkins now, please?
It is kind of a horrific idea, isn't it?
I had never seen the actual face of those pumpkins. I just assumed it was just a full-on pumpkin the whole way around.
I think Cello considered putting it out of this misery, but...
With a grenade, no less.
Yeah, but then so I actually need this grenade this round.
Nade stack from LG. 1 down banana, 2 down mid. Very little damage done, minimal. Is that the new sound occlusion that I was just hearing?
Yeah.
Rotating around my headphones?
Yeah, yeah. Because when you... So now if you hear a weapon being fired and there's a wall between you and the weapon, then it will have a different sound.
Muted?
Yeah, which is really cool. When you're closer and there are less people alive, then that's going to be really useful information. So when people are used to it, I think that kind of thing is going to be awesome. And the sounds will change depending on the surface. So here, I don't even know what this is, like kind of dry line wall or something, will be different compared to brick, compared to wood, compared to metal. So that would be really cool.
Showtime could be in some danger, although he spots that out. I think that's one of the areas where Kusta would say, if I had an AWP, that could have been a much nicer shot. So some good chip damage done onto CLG. Here comes the wrap play. I think that's Yell with the AWP on the other side of it, though. Molotov is burning Showtime. The smoke is not ideal. Now he's got an off angle around the edge of it. Takes him too long to get the kill, but good trades into a 2-on-2 and finally into a 2-on-1. And no, Yell was at the B bomb site with the AWP, and he's feeling lonely.
And he goes, and he's met with smokes. Never fun. Not even a gap to be had. Flash over the roof to provide something, some assistance. Ooh. Flash back, and now you get a bit paranoid. Pal, too afraid to scope up, and that's one in the face. Do you feel though that like Luminosity, that push was so incredibly telegraphed, and they had 4 players on the bomb site? I think Luminosity just simply didn't defend well there in that round. Like they had a good enough position to win the round.
I think, yeah, I mean, they had pretty nice setups, all things considered. I think part of the issue was, not to put all the focus on him, but part of it was Showtime in the pit. Like with that Molotov, it took so long to extinguish that, and then he missed the next fight he got into. It took him just far too long to get that first kill.
Yep.
And that just allows too much time for CLG to respond.
I don't think it's too unfair to be critical, especially due to the pit position, or the sort of balcony player is sort of the anchor of the site in many respects.
Yeah, I mean, he's the one that provides all the crossfires, right?
Yeah, you're sort of expected to get 2-3 kills in those spots.
But still, even outside the pit player, if you have 4 players at A as the defense during an execute, like that's still something that you probably should win.
Very true.
Like there was more mistakes made than just him kind of fluffing the fight.
I don't think that Flash was thrown at the right mouse button, maybe? I think it went a bit far. They had a flashbang set up on Banana, but it seemed to go over the wall. So maybe it was left click instead of left and right click, I don't know. But either way, the desired plan failed. PKL is alone. You're alone.
All alone. We used to call him Pickle.
Really?
I don't know if that's actually his name.
Well, I mean, we've mentioned Pickles before, but...
Yeah, naturally, it's like an easy thing to go to as a commentator, right?
Yeah.
Pickles.
Yeah. I said he's in a pickle.
Well, aren't you just the cleverest little girl in class?
Yes. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
I'm a strong, independent little girl. You don't need no man. Right then, both teams back on the bye. CLG have had opportunities to pick up an AWP, and they've decided against it. It's nice to see 5 AKs on a T side of Inferno, because the AWP can often be a hamstring, or have a hamstring effect more than anything else.
I think it's just difficult with the AWP because it's used so much differently than ops on other maps, where I don't think there's a whole lot of places where you can use an AWP to get a pick, right? Like you can either duel it at Banana, in which case you're probably at a disadvantage, or you can use it like boost it up at the A-bomb site, or you can use it as like a secondary peek on Wrap. But like outside of that, your AKs have to have success before the op can really get going. The AKs have to provide a lot of space for you on this map, so it's not as like integral.
Yeah, post plant is useful mostly.
Oh yeah.
Ooh. Oh, yes. Good old balcony rush. There it goes, the flashbang flying in. He's going to check the balcony, though. I think there's a CT up there, blocking each other as they jump off the balcony, and Showtime will punish Kusa. T's getting their bell rung. The bomb's in an awkward spot. Might be another duel on top mid, though. They've got to go back up the balcony to collect the bomb. That is awkward. It's going to draw Ricky out in a 2 versus 1. Doesn't seem to know where the second player is. Surely he's realised now. Dancing around and he's 1v1. Ricky somehow makes it work.
I was going to say, like, Ricky's position there is insane because he doesn't really have any play that he can make. He actually just has to fight. Yeah. And so for him to somehow win a fight around a very wall-bangable object like that, there's such a prolonged engagement. It's crazy. That's impressive. 14 to 10.
Yeah, mistakes from LG, I think, in that fight. I don't think Yell needed to necessarily peek that. I think he should have played contact on his teammate, because once Ricky swings to fight his teammate, he's out in the open, right? Yeah. Yell's the one taking the initial fight, and he can isolate that 1v1. But I mean, still, let's not take it away. I mean, that's an impressive fights to win for Ricky.
Yep.
And that's not easy, capitalizing on those mistakes. I mean, this is a crazy half just because we've talked a number of times. Like, LG seems to have like good setups and in advantage situations that they're just losing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, not only that round, but the previous one where they had 4 people at A, or the previous, round, a few rounds earlier.
Yeah, it just seems like individually they're sort of just not getting enough out of these spots. And that's it, CLG too, like with their balcony explosion play, like you expect the quad setup to just disintegrate when you smash out the balcony, usually.
Ethan gets that kill, that opening kill when he drops down.
But that was sort of fluffed, and then everything sort of collapsed around that.
Well, we're going to see it again, Dan.
Let's see if it's a bit better this time. Ethan caught with a nade in his hand. That's not a good look, but the trade is great from Finesse. And Kusta gets himself the win on quad. And the spray, Showtime nailed to the wall as he tries to somehow, I don't know what he's trying to do, leap from the window, one balcony to another.
Just desperate, wasn't he? Just like, please get me out of here.
Yeah, beam me up.
That's a couple really, really nice double kills from FNS. I mean, that one in mid is huge, but I think it was at the 4th round where he got that double spray down when they pushed down Banana. That was quite nice.
I feel like there's been some spots where CLG has definitely been bailed out a little bit here or there, but it does go back to that idea that both teams, there is some mistakes they're making, but I think CLG definitely making less mistakes. And their individual level is sort of helping them out, whereas it's sort of like the opposite of Luminosity.
Well, we just held tab as well. Kusta's got 30 kills.
Yeah.
He's had an incredible game, hasn't he? And then, I mean, you have Ethan at 24. So, I mean, you've got a couple players on CLG just going absolutely bonkers. And they just have so much money at this point as well. I mean, that was something I said was going to be the big key. We've just seen it on Inferno so much, is the amount of money that's been, in the CLG coffers this entire half. You never get a reprieve if you're Luminosity.
Yep. Yeah, and it's such a good spot. Going for the hard take of Banana as well. And Luminosity looking to win by Banana or die by Banana as they just commit themselves to holding on to this. And they're doing a good job so far. 4 versus 3, but there's more where that came from.
But there's more.
But there's more.
Lilo has supports. PKL now. Trying to buy time, spamming grenades while his teammate comes in from the back. Have to wait for the smoke to dissipate. And he sees one player there. And now FNS is in the sandwich. So Luminosity down but not out. So much money though on CLG.
Yeah, they can buy for days.
Money.
I mean, that's just CLG trying to battle their whole way. That was like the attempted uppercut, right? Where you just like you end the match catching him off guard with a really, really fast-paced rush. And now here's a switch up. There's Kusta with the AWP now. We'll see what he's going to be able to do with it. Hasn't used it this whole half to get up towards 15. Look at that stretch of 2 rounds.
It's like boom. It's like boom.
Losing the pistol as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the Luminosity side have actually opted to go for a smoke down Banana. They're leaving Neckers very close to it, which is normally what it can get awkward, because if CLG do this and they just sort of like take top mid and then they're playing slow and they're like, yeah, we have every intention of retaking Banana, or at least checking to see what's going on, Neckers could be in a very committed position and he does not have a smoke.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. If you're CLG, or if you're any team and you don't have Banana control for this long, you have to check this. Like, this should just be second nature to come through and check. There it is. The trade comes out. That's nice. Even though Cutler's brought low and FNS fell, like, that's great damage done by Neckers. Even though that happens, it's so good to just clear that position out, because now you can go back towards A. Now there's not 4 people there. It's still going to be difficult, but you're not dealing with the stack.
Yeah, and there's the threat of the play down Banana. So now it sort of forces Luminosity to make a play on Banana just to get the info. That's happening. It's Yell. He's actually going aggressive as well. He might, if he continues at this pace, he might be able to get a good timing on a flank.
20 seconds. Pressure is on CLG as all these flashbangs come in. Showtime dancing around to eventually go down. That's a lovely spray from Cello. Last 3 kills for him. And Luminosity continue their march. Now you wonder how long the CLG money will last. Cutler may have to drop, or perhaps not. So he's got $13,000, but Kusta will buy down to 1,600, and FNS down to 300. That's not really
not
a
ideal.
good spread of money. There's six CLG people on the server. One of them should be balancing the money better than this.
Balancing the accounts. I think overtime's gonna happen. I'm calling it.
Why are you doing that, Dan?
I'm calling overtime. I just have a feeling that CLG will forget how to win now, and Luminosity will tie up.
I think CLG is going to win on this round.
Really?
Yeah. Would you care to make it interesting, Dan?
What you mean like a bet? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, that's the implication.
What do we-
Ooh, cha-ching.
Yeah, I think that's probably illegal in America. Probably.
Pride.
Pride? We bet our pride.
Yeah. Slap bet.
That's
Do we
that
still
bet.
have pride?
That's a good point.
Oh, Chola's going to start things off in an explosive manner there with a quick push into the balcony, into the apartments. And that will drop a member of CLG, but I think CLG will be more than happy going 4v4 with 1 minute 30 on the clock. I think that's one of the dream situations as the tease.
The tough part is, like, CLG's been, like, these past few rounds, they haven't had any banana control whatsoever. And I'm not even, like, they haven't put as much emphasis on it throughout this half as most teams. And this is where LG's had, like, a big jump. This is where we say LG's had actually, like, a lot of advantage situations in this half, is because they've been able to cheat people over because there's no banana control for CLG. It might not matter at the end of the day, but it is just something interesting to note.
Yeah, FNS is at the bottom of Banana at the moment, maybe looking for opportunity, but he moves away as Ethan picks up that kill. Showtime will be faster on a smoke grenade this time, and the bomb is on the balcony. There is time, though. Yell will begin his flank in a 3-on-2 situation. FNS has gone to retrieve the bomb, but now they've lost position towards B. However, never mind, because Kusta has been taken out. It doesn't seem likely that the CTs know the bomb is there. You see FNS looking for a trade fragger, but now the longer he waits, the worse position he will be in. Will he opt for a save here, because he knows he is cursed if he goes out of that balcony?
Yeah, I think you save here if you're FNS. You know the money of your team is getting low as well. That's not ideal.
I am going to be swimming in pride. Rolling around in pride, James.
Yeah. That was ill-advised, wasn't it? It's the last little bit of pride I had left.
Now you're short stacked.
Oh, God. If LG win this, CLG's money is going to be... Actually, I think it'll be pretty decent. The losing bonus is building up the whole time. That's what that kind of bank afforded them, is to buy throughout the losing bonus building. But yes, this is bonkers, as it seems like CLG, right at the end, runs out of steam.
Oh, the damage.
That could have been a lot worse as well.
It really felt like it was going to be a couple kills.
The old luminosity tactic, come through the smoke with a minute and a half left on the clock.
Interesting situation here for CLG, because they have a good timing where they cleared out Banana, and Luminosity aren't interested in retaking it just yet. So,
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Just because they had that presence there, just because they were seen, you're seeing 2 players frozen at the B bomb site for Luminosity, even a 3rd player being cheated over. Just by this, like, this is going to make this hit so much easier. Surely, in a 5-on-2. Oh no, they look like they're falling back.
yep, not willing to commit. Okay, so they're setting up. Are they setting up grenades, or what are they doing? They're just okay. They're waiting for the response. They think that there will be a flank on Banana, but they're basically sort of spoiling their own window of timing.
Showtime still has a smoke. He's in the pit position, and I do wonder when he plans on using that. With 30 seconds on the clock, now would be the time. Throw it! Throw the smoke!
I think he's saving it for a Molotov in his position.
Why do he keep drawing it but not throwing it? And now he can't trade PKL. Oh dear.
Yeah, he's waiting. I think you're right. He's waiting for the Molotov to get thrown in, but that's like you should never sort of get ahead of yourself like that. It's because it might not come, and it didn't. And that's like a really good reason.
Ricky has a Molotov. He's not using it in the choke point either, so I'm just all sorts of confused at the moment.
Oh, here comes the retake attempt from Luminosity. Got to be careful for that graveyard position, and it will get traded, but that leaves Nekiz alone. 1 versus 3, and there it is, round number 16 for CLG.
CLG